The NFC East has felt pretty locked up for most of the season, but the Eagles and the Cowboys, Jeff, they seem to be trending in opposite directions right now. This feels like a really good week to check in on these two teams and how the division could shake out the rest of the season. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Katie Caldwell. This is Jeff Loy. Before we dive into this, we do have a ton of NFL and NHL content on this channel. Hit that subscribe button, stay tuned in, hit that like button. It's totally free and really helps us out. Jeff, let's start with the Eagles. They lose to the Cowboys, then they lose to the Bears on Black Friday. Have we reached the point where Eagles fans should officially be concerned about this team?
I would 100% have questions about this team because I think the one thing, if you were trying to be, the rose colored glasses Eagles fan, it would have been the defense. Well, you had a big
Mhm.
lead against Dallas, that evaporated. And as we've talked about other teams, Chicago had not one, but two guys shove it down your throat for the tune of 120 yards or more. DeAndre Swift certainly was a guy looking to, let Philadelphia, hey, remember me.
Yep.
Kyle Monangai, obviously from the area, was obviously a big opportunity for him as well. But what I think I don't wanna do the body language, any of this stuff, but
Mhm.
you see I am sorry, there's no way you cannot see, I should say, that there is some sort of disconnect between Jalen Hurts and this offense.
That was gonna be my next question. Do
There
we
are
think there is any
throws
conflict in that
he
locker
is
room?
not making, and you can see it, and you can see it from not necessarily even the guy that was thrown to. There was a Devontae Smith touchdown, was wide open. He couldn't get it to him. He threw it behind him,
Yes.
and, everybody, "Oh, well, Smith should have shut." No, Smith ran the route, and all he had to do was beat a safety with about a 7-yard head start and run into the end zone. Jalen Hurts could not get the ball on him. They're not running the ball well enough to maybe overcome some of the shortcomings that has always kind of been in Jalen Hurts' passing game.
Mm.
But you can offset it with his rushing. You certainly found a way to offset it last year, where Saquon Barkley had the fear of God in every
Yes.
defense they faced. But also, now you're just not getting the defensive play. And, I was guilty of it. We talked about it early in the year. The Eagles had a lot of new moving parts on that defensive side of the ball.
Mhm.
And, it was going to take a little time. Well, it's taken some time. It's not really working out. Brandon Graham, bringing him back, was a really, really nice idea. And I'll just leave it at that.
Just
It
leave
is
it at
not
that.
bringing them what they thought. Jalen
Mhm.
Phillips, however, has been one guy who was a late addition for them. Obviously, that's kind of looked like something that's helping that defense.
Yes.
They have had, and this was the thing, they made the transition. They were trying to go with these smaller speed defensive ends.
Mhm.
And well, guess what? If your defensive end's only 240 pounds, I am going to make him stop the run. I'm not going to get myself into a position where it's 3rd and 9 and you
Right.
can feast on my offensive tackle. We're going to lean on you and continue to lean on you. And that's what you saw this Bears team do. Everybody tried to say, oh, it's a Sirianni thing, or maybe it's the offensive coordinator. And look, they all carry some guilt into this there.
Mhm.
Jalen Hurts is not performing anywhere close to the level he performed last year and
Mhm.
certainly in the playoffs. And it's so much so, I would not be surprised if there were Philadelphia Eagles talk this offseason that maybe centered around, is Jalen Hurts staying in Philadelphia? Because this, and I know it was a Super Bowl last year, but sometimes when it's this poor and
Mm.
it looks this poor, if you're Philadelphia, and especially if you're Sirianni, this goes on again into 2026. Now it's just not roster affected. It could be
Mhm.
Sirianni's job affected. This Eagles team just flat out looks soft right now.
It does just look so different from what we saw last season, and it has the whole year. And you're right about the coaching. I am seeing a lot more smoke week by week, though, for Nick Sirianni, but especially Kevin Patullo. Could replacing their OC make a difference at all at this point? Because with all of the pieces they have, it is still shocking to see the lack of production week by week.
Well, the thing is, I don't think they give Saquon Barkley enough opportunity to get going. But I think when you are in like a panic state like the Eagles are now, nobody thinks, oh, running the ball. But
Mm.
this is what we're talking about with other teams that we've talked about today is it doesn't matter. You need to do whatever is the most successful thing you can do right now. And the way Jalen Hurts, and we've seen them try to play the game through Jalen Hurts now for months, it's
Mhm.
not working. And you wanna know
No.
what? I saw them kind of run the entire offense through Saquon Barkley first last year. So it's a question of if we're gonna go down, what do I have more faith? I am not gonna go down with. My belief
Mhm.
is I'm not gonna, Saquon Barkley, I think it's all still there. We just probably haven't used it enough. Play calling change, that's gonna be a question because right now you have to believe with this offense coordinator, there's a good chance he's not coming back anyway. So
Yeah.
if I'm Sirianni, how does this work? And we've certainly seen a number of head coaches, Campbell, obviously Quinn down in Washington. This is my brand. This is my side of the ball.
Yeah.
It's not working a route up to my expectation. Sorry, bud. I'm taking in. I'm stepping in.
And the team that's trending in the other direction, the Cowboys get their 3rd straight win. Man, this one was in a big spot over the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. A lot of eyes on that game. What looked different about them this one?
I think Dallas all of a sudden it's kind of a, oh, hey, we're making. I don't think Dallas all of a sudden now Dallas starts to feel that they are in. Like it felt like
And they're
for
playing with some
them.
emotion behind them right
Yep.
now too.
And we made jokes. We made jokes about the Dallas moves, but you want to know what? Now they are shutting down the run. Quinnen Williams was a really, really nice addition for this team.
Yes.
So obviously, as much as they loved Micah Parsons and his abilities, they felt maybe the threat of being able to do things more through the interior as opposed to the outside was something that they wanted to see. Well, it's reaping some benefits right now. But I think, they've kind of just hung around long
Mm.
enough. And I know we talked about this weeks ago when they tied with Green Bay. Where would that tie end up, working out for them? It's dangling there even better. You
Right?
know what I'm saying? Because it's that odd thing in that schedule where, hey, it's not a win, but it's not a loss. And it's certainly
Yeah.
different over some other people. And I think they just kind of hung around long enough that all of a sudden there is a belief in Dallas that, hey,
Mhm.
we can maybe sneak into this. I mean, the offense has all the potential in the world. Javante Williams basically told everybody in the world that they can just go shut up because he has been really, really consistent for them
Yes.
this year running the ball. Pickens, to his credit, wants that bag. Look, there's times where you think it's about, oh, here we go. Here's the Pickens moment and he's able to just kind of get himself straight and play out
Yes.
for the 60 minutes. And it's to the point now when you look at Dallas, it's almost like you're a little bit more scared of Pickens than you are CeeDee Lamb. You know CeeDee's going to get his, but
Mhm.
if you don't get Pickens right, Pickens is giving you the 8 for 170 and 2 to 3 scores. CeeDee's going to get his 10, 11 for whatever. But Pickens being there, playing with him is the one that's really giving you the kill shots. And Dallas's offense right now is playing so well. A
Mhm.
month ago we wouldn't have talked about this, but now that they kind of gotten better on defense, the corners have gotten a little healthier. Brought in Quinnen Williams, which has been a huge piece for them. You can
Mhm.
start to believe it when you see this Dallas team. They're a little bit more balanced. They're giving something on the defensive side of the ball. And, this way they can actually run it a little because it just felt like they were throwing because it was the only way to stay in it. But now with the defense being much, much better, Dallas can kind of play a little bit of, field position, a little bit time of possession, things that they weren't or necessarily had the liberties to do earlier in the season. So now it's a little bit more balanced attack on the offensive side of the ball due to the defense playing better.
And that's the thing, their offense has been playing out of their mind the entire season, and Dak Prescott included. He is having maybe the best season I've seen from him. And we did have so many concerns about their defense in the first half. They look like a completely different team now. What do you see from this defense? What's the biggest difference? Was it just the moves they made at the deadline, or was it just a matter of it all starting to come together for them?
I think the Quinn Williams move was huge, but the other thing is the corners were all kind of banged up. And,
Mhm.
they're bigger, longer guys. So as they've gotten back into it and as they've gotten healthier, and these guys are big and they're long, and they kind of it's really kind of worked, certainly out for them, just getting better consistency for these guys. And look, they were out for a long period of time. So it was understandable. They weren't coming back day one ready necessarily. Deron Bland, really good player 2 years ago, got lost in the shuffle after he got hurt last year. Quietly is bouncing back. He's makes
Mhm.
more plays. And I think the other thing is just kind of the confidence level. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You see a guy like Quinnen Williams walk in there, you don't need to see him play. Quinnen Williams' resume speaks for himself. And
Yes.
I think all of a sudden that really kind of helped that defense a little more. Wilson coming in, he's got some playoff experience at the linebacker position. And all of a sudden, this Dallas team that nobody really knew what it was or who it was in
Yeah.
early to mid September is starting to round into a version that, is a pretty good team offensively and, they were terrible defensively, but now all of a sudden they
Yes.
can actually play a little defense, and it's kind of changing the whole narrative of the entire team.
Cowboys and Eagles, which team do you have more trust in right now, and who comes out on top?
Never, ever thought I would be here right now.
Me either.
Absolutely.
I can't believe I'm asking you that question.
Absolutely, the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott is playing better. Javonte Williams is a more consistent runner right now than Saquon Barkley. Imagine saying that to yourself. Devontae Smith,
What
AJ
year is
Brown,
this?
everybody was talking about that duo last year. Well, I will talk
Mhm.
about Pickens and I will talk about CeeDee Lamb. And then you talk about the additions on defense, the fact that, and I said it a couple of weeks ago, what gets you excited about this Philadelphia Eagles team? Well, the more we go, the
Mhm.
less excitement there is to be had with this Eagles team. And unlike last year where they were all kibitzing, da 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 da, all of a sudden they just started winning and all that went away. Well, they were all kibitzing, and now all of a sudden they can't be find a way to win consistently, which means all of that nonsense is just going to continue to go on.